Considering the need for post-harvest sector, ICAR has come up with a new, I would say, instrument, we call them platforms. And consortia platforms on secondary agriculture and health foods are essentially those where we are trying to interact and link up with all the partners, even outside the ICAR, to come up with these solutions. Secondary agriculture reminds me that I should define what is secondary agriculture. Because sometimes taken in a different way. It's not. We have primary agriculture, that is the production part which Dr. Magar will. Secondary agriculture is essentially value addition and utilization of byproducts. And I would say that there is tertiary agriculture which talks about the consumption technologies and reducing the wastages there, increasing the bioavailability in the human body and thereby reducing the overall intake, and then working backward the requirements for food use. In fact, ICAR has recently created a new discipline in agricultural structures and environmental management, essentially to address the grain storage, controlled environment agriculture, vertical farming, which Dr. Magar indicated, and all sorts of specialty agriculture. And there again, the technology and the engineering inputs and management inputs are very high. So, and this must be the last one. So, I think I have taken enough time and given my views on what the post-harvest technology can do for us in terms of securing our food and nutritional availability for the masses. Thank you very much.
He is Deputy Director General Prof Science, Division of Prof Science, ICAR. He is International Greenhouse Plant Scientist and Biotechnologist, and he served last year Ghost Professor Department of Botany, Datta University. He has significant contribution in counseling guys with nutrition and experiments. So, Professor Datta.
I'm very glad that I somehow managed to come here. Just 2-3 days every day I was traveling somewhere. I was coming from Jammu to this place. Thanks Professor Chakravarti, Professor Sharma and others, and also inviting me to be here to give a few thoughts. Definitely I'm not going to talk biotechnology as such. Rather, my talk today I decided to be a little bit provocative, bit of something to think about it. Because 2 days back when I was at Mushuri Academy, Sales Academy, I was asked to give a talk on something to think about it, for the all lives of the sitting there. And the entire discussion was quite conducive and I liked it very much. So I'm trying to continue that sort of tempo basically. First thing, the biotech what we are doing in India is not adequate at all. One. Second, the amount we are spending on biotechnology is even bigger. Third, we still yet to develop a vision of biotechnology for India. Even I'm in the government service. When I'm in government still I'm making these comments. I made this presentation also in many aspects to planning commissions, and I made the same statement in planning commission. This one? No. Well, the challenges, definitely, I think I missed the first few presentations. I'm sure they all spoke about it. Biotech or any technology cannot work alone, cannot just integrate alone to see the potential of its benefit. It's all of this point is written here, is everything is required. And I think elaborate discussions were made in this session. Last two presentations I heard about fertilizers and post-harvest yield loss. But the main important point what is here to get the remunerative agriculture. And to get remunerative agriculture, everything in the best potential way have to be integrated. And science and technology, definitely with management, may revolutionize Indian agriculture and food security, provided we give the right direction and the system. Now, the food bill, food security bill is there, and I don't know how many of you might have read lots of different views, but one of the things I just picked up is Chetan Bhagat. What Chetan Bhagat wanted to say that as the country is a poor, and that means adequate funding for everything, and food bill itself is 2.38 lakh crore cost. Now, and that cost, whether it would be translated into reducing poverty, or we're making our country or farmers particularly more pro-poverty. In this context, because of the technological things we'll be talking about, how that would enhance food security, I believe that I remember 2001 I wrote an article, why do we need genetic engineering when enough is produced and unused? And same thing, still it's valid. And now the amount of money, how much money we spend on biotechnology or other technological interventions, not only for today's agriculture, but even for tomorrow. I'll come to that point too. Dr. Swaminathan's one point is very clear. I didn't want to elaborate what Swaminathan thinks about the green revolution of gene technology and gene evolution and so on. So one very important point he said long back in 1988, he said that and the green revolution was successful because the government supported the green revolution. Norman Borlaug brought the green revolution. C. Subramaniam supported, entire government policy supported the material to be imported in India and material to be utilized. What he said, the improved technology alone cannot help farmers grow food unless the diffusion of technology is facilitated by the public policy. And that's the point I wanted to emphasize here, because I have bring this matter in connection with GM technology. That's the reason for my support, I put this point here in advance. Now, if you look at if the technology is not there, either mechanization or genetic gains and current genetic engineering, it could have been a flat way of productivity, which would have been very less. But since the green revolution and later new technology have been intervened and have been utilized, and it's now moving, the productivity is moving high. The best productivity that what we see today, US corn, that is 10 ton per hectare, which is single cross hybrids along with biotech traits. So this combination of this, one is conventional breeding, the best possible conventional breeding, single cross hybrids, and then biotechnological traits when incorporated by genetic engineering, that made US corn the highest. Even today, if you look at Bangladesh corn production and productivity is 6 ton per hectare, Indian average is 2.3, and anybody can ask this question. Bangladesh still is not a GM maize, but Bangladesh maize, why is so high? Even the same thing grown in West Bengal is much less. I would answer it, but when there is another time to discuss on that. Now, the biodiversity is another issue, often so misguided by many eminent scholars and professors of our country. Biodiversity is not just a number of species, number of materials that you have. We have 4 lakh accession in the gene bank. What is the value of that biodiversity if we are not utilizing them? If you want to utilize them, there will be lots of questions would be asked by the activists and other people. And I have been accused many times. But all the time I'm telling you, this is not just for this gene bank. This must be utilized and either for bioprospecting or for new genetic resources or for looking for new intervention, that how it can be utilized. Now, one of the things everywhere, the number of species or the crops have been reduced. It has nothing to do with the biotechnology, nothing to do with the other technological intervention. It is simple economic benefit. Economic reasons that number got reduced. Taiwan just a few 20-30 years back, they have 100 plus rice species, rice varieties they use. Today, none. Because it is not economical for Taiwan to grow rice. They can buy it from Hong Kong or from any market. Rather, this area they use for other crops or other purposes. So that means something is very different. At the center, I just put this point. 2 crops with a few lines in one country, US, they fetch $60 billion. And we have thousands of rice varieties, thousands of other varieties, and there is so much of difficulties to manage them, so much of difficulties to even to get the higher yield, and so on and so many other problems. But it does not mean that I'm telling that we don't need biodiversity, we don't need the number. We must utilize them at the same time. If they are optimal or certain, say, in West Bengal, in certain areas, there is a good irrigation, good kind of conditions are available, we must grow only high productive rice variety where we can get maximum yield. And then rest of the places we must replace the rice with other crop or horticulture crop so that remunerative agriculture we can see it in a better way. At the same time, the National Gene Bank and other centers or the people working on genomics, they must look at the new genetic resources for gene discovery and for other purposes. Now the things that all the present days genetic modification or genetic new gains development started long back, Mendel 1865, and today whatever you see, all the development and new gains, it's all a combination of the genes that are taking place. Either you do it by Mendelian or conventional breeding, that is also genomics or GM product development, or by doing precision breeding, what you call genetic engineering. It basically is the same. Now, in 2002, when the BT cotton was introduced in India, actually it is not came through government. Government eventually regularized that illegal, irregular thing at the pressure of the farmers. Because farmers grow the BT cotton, they found Gujarat and Maharashtra particularly, they found they grow fantastic and they give high yield without spraying the chemicals. So they started to and they demanded to be approved. And then government has to approve it. So the one very good or bad, whichever way you say, that example is already set. And I'm afraid it might happen again and again, and which is not good for a country like India when we have 1.2 billion. We should not have these forceful things to come in the country. Rather, regulatory system should work in place, and it should be science-based, and it should be available to the country. All of these products, GM maize, GM cotton, GM brinjal, golden rice, high iron rice, good quality of soybean, as well as canola. There are many of those different crops. The good traits are available and possible, and in India, some of the ICAR state agriculture universities and some of the advanced institutions are working on them. But their fate is very, very bleak. The one other point that even when we say that we have enough cereals, grains, we have enough crop, we don't have the space in the godown or FCI godown, why should we produce more? Even that question may come. Because sometimes we often go with the secretaries and other people, we talk about agriculture, and sometimes farmers, even in one meeting I found it very embarrassing. Some farmers took out 2 bags of rice and put it on the table and said that we are talking more technology, more sort of innovation, more schemes. I produce rice, even I don't get a price, even don't get a minimum support price. Why should I produce more rice? So that's the very simple question of the farmers. Now see this, where we are. When $50 billion market, even all different ways, it is $8 to $10 billion straight away. We are exporting now 15,000 crore basmati and also cotton, BT cotton particularly. But our market share is only 2%. Our production also shared around 2.5%, and export is also very meager. We are not looking the potential of the seed market. We are not looking what are the advantage we could take taking the best agriculture practice in the country, and that is needed to be done. And that's the reason I see great potential, what I said in the beginning. So we need to put up those things in the right way. Now, Prime Minister 2012 in Calcutta and many places have said that, many of you have noticed, it's a shame of our country that 42% of our population are malnourished. And many districts are absolutely malnourished because of diet, because of not accessing to the right food, etc. So multiple reasons. And that's not much time to elaborate on that. But the many material, high iron rice and getting high iron wheat, and golden rice that produce provitamin A, and this is a simple thing that engineered to produce the golden rice seed, but still it cannot move anywhere because there is a wrong perception with some activists that they think that it might alter something, whatever it is. And this entire carotenoids pathway, if someone knows it, vitamin synthesis, vitamin D saturase, and like cyclase, they're all present in all green plants. We every day are eating them. And if you engineer them, put them in the seed, with endosperm specific promoter, what should be wrong? That cannot be anything wrong. But still, we need to do a lot of regulatory work, etc., etc. Still, there are some questions and things is not moving. Now, the abiotic says, today the climate change would be definitely an issue. We need abiotic stress tolerant plants across the different crop species. We need definitely terminal heat tolerant wheat material, and etc., etc., etc. There are technology available today, which is possible that we can engineer rice and other crops by this system. For future, definitely as CO2 levels is increasing and temperature is also increasing, there is a possibility that we could make C4 crop, not only rice but also potato, wheat and other crops. And there is a project now we have started, we will be starting in 12-5 plan. It is too late, some work is going on, but we would like to get global science into the system so that we can aggressively move on to that project. Now, particularly for wheat, we are doing well. We are producing enough wheat today. We are now #1 exporter in wheat. But as I said, we should not be complacent with this kind of a simple thing we are exporting wheat. We can be global leader in kinds of cereals and grain production and can fetch higher price, and that would give indirectly return to the farmers, and the farmers will get a benefit. But in the case of wheat, there are two challenges are still there. The biotechnology can help. One is terminal heat tolerance and rust resistance. There are a lot of work going on across the world, also in India. We are actively involved in it, but still a lot of work needed. Because this particular rust pathogen, the strain is breaking down very quickly. Mutation takes place very faster. So the breeding component is not coping up to get a resistant material. So we need a durable resistance which can be sustainable for a long period of time. So we need to do a much more engineering in this particular work. I was glad that I listened to Professor on fertilizer, and it's very enigmatic and very challenging that even we use low fertilizers in our country, at the same time still 30-40% are absorbed, and even other micronutrient. And that's because mineralization is not taking place because of low carbon content of our soil and making our work difficulties. Now, I'm not going to elaborate on that subject, but what I would like to mention here, there are certain genotypes now available in the country. Koshala is one of the rice variety. ERI scientists found that this material can grow with very less potassium. Similarly now, much low nitrogen and many other resources, fertilizers, with a low input, the certain plants cope up in a better way. Now we found that there are certain genes present in those plants, and that getting better absorption of the minerals and help the plant getting better growth. So this is another area, the nitrogen use efficiency, potassium use efficiency, etc., can be utilized by this technology. The last scheme that I would like to mention to you that we are launching this project too. BBSRC, Melinda Gates Foundation, and many other supporting agencies also are very much involved in it. But it's a challenging work, it might take time, but I strongly believe that if rice and cereals do have all the genes present in legumes that fix the nitrogen, why these genes are present in the cereal? At one time, they must be fixing nitrogen. because of habitat, that we are giving enough nitrogen and everything together, and through century and century or thousands of years of time, we might make rice these genes inactive. So there are today tools are available, the molecular biology tools are available, where the promoters and the genes can be combined together and can be engineered the cereals which can definitely at least 30 to 50% they can fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere, and that could make big changes in the entire agriculture system. This is the last provocating thought that I would like to bring to you, that this is a simple canola, GM canola in Canada. Now how we want to compete with the world, and no matter how much technology we bring. Take over 100 years back, even introduced tractor and inorganic chemical fertilizers when Tagore's son came back from US. And even today, our mechanization system, our entire other agriculture practice system is not really moved much. So we need to adopt aggressively the modern agriculture practice. Otherwise, it's not possible for us to go to the next phase of regenerative agriculture. So with the GM technology, particularly and the biotech says, and the Prime Minister is very much clear on that subject, and what he says, genetically modified food and nuclear energy, it cannot be just seen as an emotion or kind of other things. It should be seen as a science, and he strongly supported this technology. Similar things, President of India, Prof. Mukherjee also said that development and introduction of GM have the potential to revolutionize agriculture. They are very supportive. And we all know that Sharp is strongly supportive of biotech and the GM crops. Now, why is the problem? Globally, this came just 20th September Science. It's editorial, Science editorial. I have a few copies. I'll give one to Mr. Chakravarti and Mr. Sharma. And this editorial clearly stated that globally and the global science has nothing wrong or nothing to do with activists and whatever they do it. And we must stand very strongly based on science. And you see here what happened. Last 18 months, GEC never had a meeting. One meeting we had it, and even the minutes not being passed and not being approved. How in India you can work when scientists or scientific communities in a committee, they support certain science and that even not being moved to the next phase. So that's a serious problem that we must look into this, that how we can move science. When scientific communities demand and need to work, our young generation, they often we hear that young generation don't like to come in agriculture, don't like, or farmers' children don't want to work in farming. Why they should? Why should they? In 1985, I have seen in Germany a German young girl coming to in the field with a tractor in one day or a few hours work. She can harvest the entire area and can go home with a driving Mercedes Benz. And where we are, and what kind, and if you want to bring our young researcher in agriculture, we must involve them in computational biology, in bioinformatics, in genomic-based agriculture, so they can integrate all of them and they can look for the designer crop and for the next phase. Look at China. They put 3.8, almost $4 billion on tangerine, and our budget is $30 to $40 million. And we expect our entire country, 1.2 billion people, and 67 agricultural universities, etc., 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 all they will do miracles. Sometimes they will just suddenly they will make a miracle. That's the way we're not doing much. We have to admit the fact we're not doing much. This is a today's scenario. Now this slide tells you tomorrow. What tomorrow agriculture should be. It's all, as I said, computational biology, bioinformatics, genomic-based sequencing and resequencing, getting the allele, get them mining, and get a designer crop in the laboratory, and then you combine those allele, those material together, and go to the your field. So that earlier what we needed 15 to 20 years to get a variety development, this should be done in 2 to 3 years. But based on all this science to be supported from behind, that means lots of money, that means lots of thinking, lots of science. And without that, you cannot just do it. Okay, we don't need to do it, it's fine. Company are doing it, other institutions are doing it. We'll borrow them and we'll be depending on them. So that means when the farmers born in debt, they remain in debt, and their future also remain in debt. And that we would not change the entire remunerative agriculture the way we should. This is my last slide. The farmers need improved seeds and basically the management, which is missing. In many cases, these are the things we need very much, and this all could come integration of all techniques and traditional system available, modernizing and biotech. And science does not or should not have any boundary, whether it just or perceived where and how, but the best science should be utilized in the best possible way. Thank you very much.
Nice and good talk from the people who has really talked about that food production and how to improve productivity. Now I have the duty to talk about the logistics, supply chain and ICT group. So apart from the industrial engineering department led by our head of the department, Professor Tiwari, we also have with us Professor N. Viswanadham from IISc Banglore, Professor Sri Rajendran from IIT Madras, Professor Ravi Shankar from IIT Delhi, Professor Gajendra Kumar Adil from IIT Bombay, and I'm sure we can take this forward because the challenge is also very heavy. What has happened that after this food security bill has been passed, there is a new challenge that food supply has to literally double. Double amount of food has to be supplied through our already beleaguered public distribution system. And these inefficiencies that we already have because of multiple levels of supply chain and many other, like there are problems of storage, there are problems almost at every level. The solution really lies in appropriate application of logistics, supply chain and information and communication technology and everything that is possible, which includes data analytics, statistics and application of all operations, research and related areas. Now I request Professor N. Viswanadham, who is a distinguished professor in computer science and automation at IISc Bangalore, to kindly deliver his talk. Professor Viswanathan is a fellow of IEEE, INSA, INAE and Indian National Science Academy and Third World Academy of Sciences. He was also the Executive Director for the Center of Excellence of Global Logistics and Manufacturing at ISD Hyderabad, and he was also with NUS at Singapore. And he is the recipient of IISc Alumni Award and Distinguished Alumni Award from the Council of the IISc, and also Professor S.K. Mitra Memorial Award from INAE. So I request Professor Viswanathan kindly to take the dance.
I'd like to first thank Datta and also Professor Tiwari for inviting me here. At supply chain, I've been working on this for the last 8 years. And this was when I was in Singapore. There was some kind of an arrangement between FICCI and Singapore government to work on cold chain management, cold chain management. So that report was written by me or afterwards. There was, when I moved to IISc School of Business in Hyderabad, we invited the Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, to come and inaugurate a logistics summit. He put a condition that I will come only if you work on rural supply chains. So at that time, he released a book which was edited by me, which is available on the web right now. And at that time, we now initiated what is called Kisan Bandhu, which means farmers relative, and which basically is a website where farmers can go onto the website, can sell their produce and all that. This was later initiated by one of the NGOs in Hyderabad. So, but coming back here to talk to the 12 jobs in IIT has been a very refreshing thing for 2 or 3 reasons. The first thing is I have been always talking to the industry. Industry says, look, these are good ideas, but what about implementation? Well, there is the implementation issues are already. And most of the issues, I'm going to show you, most of the issues that the implementation faces come from the government. I'm talking of the logistics supply chain issues. And another thing that comes in is of course the other availability and so on. Without much ado, let me go ahead and talk to about this. It's good supply chain. And I personally think the comparative advantage for India lies in the food supply chain, not in the egg, if you do it right. Now, are we doing it right? Are we charting the future right? The answer is no, and we had lots of speakers this morning, including the last speaker, said what is wrong with Indian agriculture. So, I would be more positive and try to get to what it is. I think it is a revolution in the making. If we do things right, the breakthrough innovations are possible with moving employment opportunities. What is this innovation? I mean, there are lots of innovations that were talked about in the green, this one and all that. I'm talking about I'm not talking about new to the world kind of innovations, but new to the market kind of. In other words, there are things which are existing elsewhere. That's just implemented. You do not have to invent. If we try inventing, doing the research and all that, it will be years. It will take its own time. But let us try to implement what is currently existing. What is needed is out-of-box thinking in terms of product offerings made to various customer segments with appropriate business models. I emphasize the word business model. And affordability, availability, and awareness. These are the two areas that are important. Affordable, it costs money. Second is available. It should be a good product. For example, if you take oranges, it is good, but is it affordable? It's not. Why is it not affordable? It's not affordable because it's very expensive. Why is it expensive? The packaging costs 20%. Why is packaging expensive? Because it's on it. If you make the potato chips, then 20% of the cost is packaging and another 20% are taxes. Why? Because potato chips are supposed to be so-called allied products. So the issue is affordable, available, and awareness. I mean, nutritious food as we are talking about. All of us know when it is nutritious, it cannot be very tasty. Once it is not tasty, then you don't like it. So you have to create awareness in the minds of people, and particularly the poor ones. So what is, of course, I'll just quickly run through. There are basically lots of advantages India has. Nature has given us lots of things in terms of sunshine hours, agroclimatic regions, biodiversity, and so on. So nature is kind, but the man is not intelligent enough to use the kindness of the nature. That's the problem. And what is the cloud-to-plate supply chain? That's the farmer. That's the transportation. And that's the distribution center. And retailer, consumer. Now you can see the amount of inefficiencies that go through the supply chain. So what happens is, if you are teaching a course in supply chain, say auto or telephones or anything, then whatever things the product is made to demand, you estimate the demand, made to demand. Now, if you are farmer producing tomatoes, do you know the demand? You don't know. Why are you producing tomatoes? Because your grandfather has produced it, or your neighbor is doing it, and so on. So, there is this called demand-driven agriculture need to come into focus. And also the relationships the supply chain visibility and other kinds of things are totally absent in the architecture of the supply chain. If you benchmark the supply chain, there are 4 things. I'll show you a diagram. 4 things that are needed. Resources abundant. You have cultivators, you have water, you have land, and resource management, highly efficient. Supply chain, there are too many intermediaries. From the farmer to the retailer. There are just too many intermediaries. And product offerings, very few processed food products. India is the only country where processed food is more expensive than freshly cooked food. Which one do you want? Freshly cooked food or processed food? But why? Why is it more expensive? Taxes, packaging, and so on. So basically, and also the 5% that people have mentioned, out of the 5% is atta, is the maximum processed food that we are offering. Whereas if you go to other countries, 80% of the food that we eat is processed food. So there are here on the internet, so we should consider taking each of these items and then get the processed food into signature. And also information technology, no supply chain visibility. Farmer doesn't know the retailer. The retailer doesn't know the distribution. Logistics, no cold chain. I would like to mention one thing. Everybody talks of the cold chain and have temperature sensitive warehouses and all that. Do we need cold chain for every product? I have found 95% of the product, if you are produced in a particular state, are consumed in the same state. And from any state, from any place to the market centers, it takes less than 18 hours. But so what you need is transportation and packaging, not cold chain. For 95%, I'm not saying cold chain is not needed. So you can see that, when you are going on particularly the village sites, very mango fruits are there on the loaded on a truck, and there are 4 people are sitting on it. So the kind of practices that you see in the distribution centers and so on, and all of this online. So basically the logistics is one of them. And trade and packaging duties are high, and protectionist economic policies. And just evidence that. And there are several other acts which come into it. So if you are analyzing the benchmarking of food supply chain, you will find that except the resources, everything else that is human made is the one that needs to be improved. What is the state of Indian food sector? And people have said this, and so I need not to say this. Potential to become leading supplier of the food. I have written an article in 2005, Can India be the food basket of the world? It's downloaded several times, much more than my technical papers. I get one email every day saying that from many people saying that, Prof, can you tell us what we can do, what can do, and so on. And also in terms of the younger population, let me tell you, I have requests from 2 University of California Berkeley, PhDs, who are just finishing, saying that they want to come and start up on this. Can you tell us, can you connect us to this? I'm going to connect you guys to them so that they can come and look at you and so on. So, because I had an occasion to make these presentations in international forums and IIT conferences, there were many people who are sitting there and then who are staying. So, if you look at this one, when you are starting a big project like this, it's very important to find out what is your map, what are the risks you are going to face, and what are the kinds of innovations that you can do. So the food supply chain, all of us know, it's suppliers, farmers, fisheries, and so on. Food manufacturing, which is only 5%. And that is the place where we can we can improve a lot of food manufacturing. For example, you take the orange juice. Orange juice, why is it expensive? It's because the orange pulp is important. We are the second largest manufacturer or production of citrus fruits. But why is the pulp important? And people tell me that whatever oranges that are produced here, you cannot make pulp out of them. I mean, they should pardon me if I am wrong with this. And why cannot we produce pulp out of them? Because it's only used for peeling, and we are importing all this from either Australia or New Zealand. And why are we not using the Australian or New Zealand and producing these oranges and make pulp out of them? And then in terms of food security, I'll come at this one, distribution and packaging. Packaging, all the materials are important.
Even the machine.
All the materials, although they are packaging institutes here, all the materials are important for retail chains, mandis and restaurants. And what are the resources that we have? Canals. I am from a village in Andhra Pradesh. We used to have a canal where all the fields were there and so on. Now half of the canal is gone. I don't know water, we use groundwater and by the side of the river Godavari, but still the Godavari water doesn't flow into our fields. It used to 50 years ago. And of course the universities, fields, testing, development labs, sourcing of food courts, HR management. Now we have everything in this world. If you have a factory worker, you are trained. But are you trained if you are a farmer? You are not. Are you trained if you are a kirana shop owner? You are not. These things, they just come by instinct from family. This one. So basically, there are training, skill-based training that you need. And this is an important part. APMC Act, Minimum Price Act, Essential Commodities Act, PDS, Public Distribution System, that comes in a big way in terms of the logistics and so on. Quality control and environmental issues. And if you look at the amount of adulteration in the Indian foods, the amount of adulteration is very high. And if you read anything on the road facts, and I think you're out 60. So, and also, you must have seen the videos in terms of the paneer. If you buy paneer outside, then you prefer coffee. So, and social, kirana shop, financial and trade issues. Kirana shop, there are 1 million of them. They are providing jobs and so on. But they basically, I always tell in Bangalore, if you want to have an IT company, that's no problem. You can start it. You will get the clearance in a day. But if you want to start a kirana shop in this one, it takes nearly 1 year because you have to take kirana association, you have to go to the hospital, you have to go to all the places and so on. So kirana shop, these unions, very rightly, they want to protect themselves. But what is the kind of service you get? And sensor network, supply chain visibility, cold chain logistics, food parks, areas, and freight corridors. These are all important because food has to travel from one place to the other, and the freight corridors like border coordinator become very important. So this is one slide which shows you whatever people have talked about since morning. And this is from my book, which is on ecosystem-friendly supply chain management, which came out in February this year. And also there are lectures, if anybody is interested, on NPTEL lectures on food supply chain, which people can listen. And also, all my papers on food security are all on the web. They can be downloaded. But this is one of the things that somebody in a special party or from Nagpur, the kind of problems that you face if you are doing any business in food. So what is food security? I mean, of course, everybody has defined, and all people at all times have access to sufficient, safe, nutritious food and so on. Food security implies physical, economic access. India ranks below Rwanda. According to International Food Policy Global Hunger Index, 67, it is ranked 67 out of 81. What is the index? The index is the proportion of population that is undernourished, the proportion of children who are underweight, and the under 5 children mortality. Now, please understand one thing. If you don't improve the situation, tomorrow you have millions of useless people who you have to feed. Okay, so what is the solution? India needs to assure the increase of this revolution, strategic vision for an agriculture service sector, not agriculture. I am talking of agriculture that is from production till somebody eats that. What is the kind of revolution that we need? Streamline and upgrade agri service chains using modern technologies, demand-driven agriculture, processing industry visibility, initiate education, research, and so on, which I'm glad you guys are doing. Plan and build integrated food service systems in rural and urban areas. So 5 things, post-harvest research. Now, this post-harvest research is basically some things which, if I want to start doing research now and build all the infrastructure that is needed, it will be the year 4000. So none of us will exist by the time year 4000. But can we borrow some of the things, like drying technologies? I am from a place where there are a lot of banana crops. Now people cut the banana and then bring it, and a fellow who comes, a trader or a middleman who comes there, he says, I'll come tomorrow. And the banana gets spoiled because this guy doesn't know what is post-harvest treatment. You have to keep it, should not keep it in the sun, you should keep it in a fat place, not necessarily cold chain, but it has to be in the shade somewhere, not the place. And you have drying technologies which are available. That's where in the world. Where you can, basically all of us must have been when we go abroad for breakfast, where the bananas are cut and they're dried, and you put them again, it looks like fresh. So we have to borrow some of those technologies in terms of post-harvest research. Food manufacturing with added vitamins and minerals. Because boiling sweet potatoes with vitamin A is rich. It's a good idea. But before that, I think you can take orange juice, add vitamins and zinc, and then give it to the things for them. Distribute nutritious food, not grains. This is one thing I have in the Food Security Act. And I have mentioned this to everybody, including the national this committees, all committees, including Apple Valley and all that. But they said this is something which attention to supply chain and logistics to minimize wastage. Regulations by the state and central governments, APMC Act, etc. Lack these regulations are the biggest difference. So, I'll just give you 2 examples of this one. Due to market kind of innovation, what is that? Estimate your market price. How many people will buy orange juice packets if it is as cheap as a coffee or tea on the roadside stall and costs only rupees 5? So let's say 10. What is the market size? 1.2 billion per day. Because people can check and drink, all people can drink. You can reduce this is what you say. But now let's work backwards. People laugh at me when I say, oh, it is not 5 rupees. Why would you give you all of this for 5 rupees small packet? But let's look at some of the innovations. How did Tata make a car for 1 lakh? They cannot sell it. And you know the telecom revolution here, right? You have 1 crore added every month. How did this happen? It happened because of Reliance. Reliance never asked, said that how many landline owners, how many will shift to mobile and all that. They said, I want to make a telephone loss as cheap as a postcard. It should not one rupee. That's it. And then the market side cost 1.2. So you ask the right question and say that how do I reduce for 5 rupees, let's say 10 rupees. Then of course you have to work backwards. You cannot ask less anymore. You have to work in this country. We have 2 examples, excellent examples and many others, where basic correct kind of market model, you can always produce anything. And if you do that, you can take action in the distance point. So if it is available, we are going to use it all, therefore it's not available. Then you look at the message point. And then another one is about the food security. Now food security, as I said, is not great security. It's supplying nutritious food. Now, how do you do the nutritious food? I'm not talking of rich people, I'm talking of poor people in Calcutta. 1 crore people per day eat their lunch at the hawkers. There are 1.5 live hawkers, and there are 1 million hawkers in the country. 1.5 million people serve 1 crore people. People tell me, I can't read. But people tell me it's good food, you pay 20 rupees, you get a lunch, and you're okay. It's true. It is true. So, if you take that, add to that the hawkers, you supply them nutritious food. And if the hawkers have these vehicles, there's vehicles, you put GPS on that. And you give them, nowadays cell phone, you can use your thumbprint on the cell phone and you have UID, you can identify whether somebody is a ration card holder or not. Right? So, with the hawkers, you can basically supply food, not only people in the offices, but also the food things. And there are, I don't know whether you heard of this, Untitled which supplies food in the Karnataka in the 8 states, are also Mandi, which is Hyderabad. They supply food stations, all the poor people and so on. They have a nutritious consumption. They have a nutritious consumption. So all I'm saying is you don't have to go outside, you look at what it is, implement it in a market way. Don't give them grades, don't give them money. I know on an NRS team, we did a survey in Banglore district in Andhra Pradesh. People collect money and they get alpha. So basically, the issue here is this, and we have distribution centers and kitchens. Now, Akshay Patra can cook for 1 lakh people rice, and they supply to elementary school, various types of schools, and so on. And add to this, vocational training, you can have IT backbone as well. You can see what is happening all through this. And you can remove PDS. I have put PDS here. You can remove PDS. And then have distribution sectors and the teachers and that. When I showed this, there are people who are interested in starting up. And I told them I did not have to show that this is feasible, this one, because Nandi is doing it, Akshay Patra is already doing it, you have kitchen and other kinds of things. And it looks like a sensible thing, but implementation takes time. So I think to summarize, the vision of this particular group, to use ICT technologies, supply chain logistics methods, is basically a wonderful thing. And that is a good thing for this country. And I wish all the success for this particular project. And not because I have been working on this, but it's a noble thought, and this country requires this. Because we cannot keep on wasting money, and money should go in the proper direction. from the government or individuals and so on. So the initiative, the Kharagpur initiative fills in much needed research efforts in the supply chain logistics and food security area. The involvement of IIT faculty and research students would make it much needed contribution to food security in India and the world. Now, I have one suggestion. Please include entrepreneurship for this. Entrepreneurship. Train them to become food processing manufacturers, to food retailers, and put this one, and they can think afresh and so on. And also, don't forget, India is a country with 50% of the population below 25. I don't know, is there anybody below 25? No. So this is not be for us. It should be for the future. One thing I find that in Bangalore, the food used to be non-spicy and all that. But now I find that in this place I eat it is all spicy. But why? Then I researched and found that the Bangalore population has genes of such. So it's all jeans pants, it's all t-shirts, and it's all, they don't want rice, they don't want beef, they don't want chapati, they want old protein and rich food. So we have to work towards that. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Agriculture, big science, and big thinking in solving this problem. And I think we've been greatly enriched by the talks of our eminent people. We now are running short of time, and we will spend another half an hour in open discussions and summary. And what we'll do is we will request the people who have come from outside and have not spoken to just say a few words of whatever they have to say quickly, maybe 2-3 minutes each, and whatever they have to share and how they wish to participate. And then I would request Ms. Amita Sharma, who always takes down notes and has some thoughts to share. And then we'll close, but this close is not going to close, we'll close. And I request Professor Sundadas to delete some portions of provocative lecture, that's all right. So, we would like to put this up, and we would also like to link it up to your NPTEL lectures. We want to make this accessible to a larger set of people. We put it up on the IIT Council website so that it becomes a phenomenon which people can further contribute. So we'll take your slides and we've taken videos. So.
Thank you, Professor Chakravarti, and a very good afternoon to all of you. So far, this has been an exciting and enriching experience for all of us present in this room. We have heard from 5 eminent speakers who are well known in their areas, and what we have heard from them is an overview by Professor Punjab Singh, and then we heard about the research, the production, the post-harvest processing and storage, which is an extremely important part, and overall how to manage all of them in terms of accessibility and so on. So the aim is so we can provide food to every Indian. We are also really fortunate that we have so many eminent and distinguished researchers among us from various IITs, from this IIT and so on. So we would like to hear from you in a short and concise way your opinions on the deliberations that we have heard so far. And as a courtesy, I would request the outside guests to speak first, beginning with maybe you. Yes, please.
Sir, I have to start.
Yes, please.
I am Dr. D.D.G. In fact, I am a pharmacologist. I am mainly agriculture scientist and both food technology. But I have been assigned a job where Dr. Sapan Datta has very nicely mentioned, because being an ICMR institute, finally whatever the technology you develop here, in the lab as well as in the field has to be linked to the civil society. We are facing a very, very difficult task to link this technology to the civil society.
I agree.
Today the activism has come to the stage where we are not able to curtail the activism because our own scientists are not able to make convinced to this scientific community themselves as well as to the civil society. And I remember very well, sir, because in our ICAR institute also we were facing such type of difficulties when we were planning to translate about the kitchen gardening to propagate the kitchen gardening among the population. And at that time one of the IIT professor has given a very nice slogan to us, change the name of a kitchen gardening to the bio-intensive gardening. Then everything changed. So such type of revolutionary word are changing the coin or something has to be done. And very nicely put up by the human resource development when somebody was mentioning. I would sincerely request you, sir, today biotechnology in a very shabby state because of the lack of biotechnology programs which are not taking place in a small, medium level junior colleges. As an IIT and IIM people who are here, can you just take a lead to conduct a resource program where you will teach what is a biotechnology, where is the requirement and how we can just combine and we can go ahead as an intervention strategy.
Some of the problems that you have referred to, we also face them. And we are constantly evolving. Our biotechnology department and our agriculture department, they are working towards providing the right tools to our students at all levels so that they become competitive and they become useful product in the job market. So that's an extremely good suggestion. May I request Professor Desai to share his views? I am also requesting Ms. Sharma and Professor Chakravarti to come on stage.
I just want to make 2 points here. There have been very excellent presentations. We are talking about food security and the focus has been primarily on grains and legumes and lentils. But I think we have a huge coastal area. I think perhaps one of the rare countries in the whole world which has this massive coastal area. And I could be wrong, and I think agricultural scientists and others may have better data. Large amount of the country does eat fish or chicken. It's not a small percentage. I would venture to say about 60%. So if you are talking of food security, how do we use our ocean resources? And we are covered on almost like maybe 60% of the country has it. I think that is a component which I didn't hear today at all, and we need to exploit it in one form or the other. And it can really add, even nutrition that we are talking about. Protein, it will be much more protein rich than maybe say rice or wheat.